Hi guys, welcome to the Tech Career Booster channel. My name is Jos Ballardin, and today's video we're going to be talking about time management. What time management is, how it's going to help you to actually organize your life. And the main goal for this video is actually try you to respond to this question for yourself. Work, life, and study. Where is the time to do it all? That's what we're going to try to achieve today. So if you want to organize your life and not feel under the pump over the days, stay with me and let's try to get you out of that situation. So let's start from the beginning. Time management. What's time management? Let's try to understand it. Time management is basically the way you organize your time in order to be able to do everything you want to do over your day. So you have to be organized to be able to achieve everything you are supposed to achieve during your day. We all have a lot of things to do. We all have family, friends, work, study. So it's very hard to get everything done if you don't organize yourself. Like if you don't um, get time specifically for doing some stuff, you're gonna end up the day without doing what was supposed to be doing. Also, you're gonna finish the week, and the things you propose yourself to do, it's not gonna be done. So that's what time management works for. So it's gonna help you to do that. And what's the challenges in that? The challenge in time management is actually put everything together. We tend to actually focus in one thing and then we give more attention to that and then we leave the other things behind. Usually when we are studying a lot, like we leave our friends or we leave our partner, or when we actually working too much, then we don't give proper attention for our partner. Or if we are on the other hand, like just playing and drinking and going to bars and enjoying the life, usually we leave the job aside. Um, and on getting time management, on managing your time, you actually should be able to do everything without feel that pressure, like that uncomfortable pressure. So why do I need to learn it all to become a software developer? I would say everyone needs to learn how to manage their time, but especially to become a software developer, you have to be very organized. You have to find the time to do something you are not doing at the moment, which is study. Uh, Probably, like I'm gonna guess, some of people watching this video, they are actually a professional already. They are working their career. They have friends and family, either if they are living with their parents or if they're living by themselves. You always have something to do. You already have a routine. And if you have a routine already, and that routine does not include studying and learning a new profession, it's going to be uncomfortable for you to actually change that and adapt to that. And you're going to end up losing something. So the reason you have to learn time management more than everyone else is actually to be able to achieve that goal, to actually transition your career, to actually become a software developer. And what would be the consequence if you don't do that? If you don't learn to manage your time, if you don't organize yourself, you're going to end up doing one thing and not all the things you want. Let's say you want to walk, you want to exercise, you want to study and become a software developer, and you still have a girlfriend. How are you going to manage to do it all over the days, over the week? If you don't organize that, you're going to end up losing something. If you focus too much on studying, you may lose your job, you may lose your girlfriend. If you focus too much on working, you may not study enough and you're not going to become a dev. If you focus too much on one thing and don't organize yourself to do everything, you're gonna end up losing something. It's not gonna be good, and you're gonna feel bad. So that's the reason why you should learn that, and the consequence of not doing that, you probably uh, would not be happy with them. So let me try to help you and give you some techniques how you can actually manage your time. First thing, I would say you have to have clear goals and smart goals. I'm not gonna explain like in details what a smart goal is, but basically, smart is something measurable. You can manage. It is specific. It is attainable. You can actually achieve that. It is time based. Like you can actually check when you achieve that, and you have to have a time frame for that, a due date. Basically, that's what's a smart goal. Um, don't get too much on the concept of smart here, but get attention on what a goal is. You have to have your goal. You have to know where you are going, and sometimes that's the first challenge when we face that, like say what I'm actually wanting. I was just interviewing a student yesterday, and he knew like where he wanna go, like what he's keen to do, but he didn't know the details on what to do. And I think that's important to know yourself and to start studying from there, to start studying what I want. So you can actually look for other people career, you can look for the positions available, and you can say, okay, that's my goal. Talking about career, right? Uh, my goal is to become a software developer and being able uh, to pass in that interview or to get a position like that one. So you get something you're gonna target to. That's going to be your goal. You have to set goals for everything you want to achieve. Uh, and it's good to have goals for all different areas of your life. So I would say here you probably should be setting a goal for your health. You also probably should be setting a goal for your relationships, partnership, and friends. You also should be setting a goal for your studying, goals for your current job, work. What else? Anyway, that's up to you guys with which kind of goals you want. But what I mean is, you probably should have places where you want to go for each of area of your life. Whatever you think is important, you should be focusing on, exercising, whatever. Um, if you don't make that a routine, you're not going to be able to achieve that, basically. So that's going to take us to another technique, which is the prioritization. So if you have a lot of things to do, you have a lot of things you want to achieve, and you only have 24 hours in a day, and from those 24, you still have to sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. So there's not many hours available for you to utilize with all other things. So you have to prioritize them and see, okay, what's more important to me? From all those things I have to do, which one is more important? And here there's a pretty good technique. I think it was created a while ago for some American president. I can't recall the name. But basically, what this technique says, you should separate all the things. First, you should list everything you want to do, and then you should separate all those things in four quadrants or in four areas. First area is the urgent and important things. The urgent and important things are the ones you're going to do first. So you get that group of things and tackle them as soon as you wake up. And then you're going to have things which are less urgent, but they are important. If you have things which are less urgent, but they are important, you should be scheduling them. So you get that list or that group of things, you're going to book a time for actually do that. But you have to book a time and tackle that, because if you book the time and don't do it, doesn't make much sense, you know? They are important things. You have to do that. The third group is actually things which are urgent, but they are less important. Um, I can't I can't tell you guys what's less important to you. Uh, I can say what's less important to me. For example, some things are urgent but are not important. I have to pick up a parcel from post office. I can get anyone to actually go and pick up the parcel for me. That's urgent. I need that parcel, but that's not important. Like someone else can do it. It doesn't need to be myself. So those kind of things you can actually delegate. If you have someone to do that to you, you can delegate those things. And the last one, the fourth quadrant, is things which are neither urgent nor important. If it's not urgent and not important, why would you do that? Just don't do it. You know, that time you actually spend on social media, like you just stay scrolling and scrolling, or that time you were just like playing and, you know, doing nothing basically. That's something you really don't need to do. That's not important and that's not urgent. So don't do it. Don't waste your time. That's going to be wasting of time. And get back to the techniques. The next one I want to talk to you is about time blocking. What time blocking is? Time blocking is very simple, but most people ignore it. I'm going to show you an example of time blocking. Time blocking is basically blocking time over your day, reserve that time to do stuff. So here's an example. Uh, let's say you wake up at 6 a.m. So we're going to wake up, we're going to have your morning routine, have a breakfast, exercise, whatever you do in the morning. I want to emphasize here, it's very important to exercise. Don't leave that behind. You have to keep your body health. And then let's say you had a goal of doing some code challenges and doing some coding tasks. We know that's like a brain consuming task. So we want to do that first. If we get that to that priority list, you're probably going to see that should be something, a priority for this person, because it is early in the morning. So they're going to do the coding and the most challenging task in the morning. And then you can go to work from 9 to 12, and then 12 to 1, you're going to have a break, lunch. You can listen to a tech podcast. You can, you know, have some reading in that break. You can actually have your like playtime with social media or a mobile game or whatever on a break, so you don't burn out. And then you come back to work 1 to 5. 5 to 7, you're going to take more time to actually learn a new programming language. So you're going to be studying, watching videos, doing exercise, or whatever you need to do to actually learn that new language. And then you're going to have 7 to 10 for actually family, as a family time, have your dinner, kids, partner, whatever you have to do. That's an example of time blocking. Obviously, you don't have to follow these times. You're going to create your own. You're going to create your own things to do. But once you block that time and you create a routine of doing stuff, that's very powerful, because routine and consistency are the key words for time management. If you have a routine and if you have consistency on doing things, you're going to achieve your goal. Imagine if you were working every day on learning a new thing. If you do that for 5 days, and the next week you do that for more 5 days, and the next week you do that again, how much you're going to learn over a month? How much you're going to learn over a semester, over a year? You're going to learn too much because you are doing that every single day. And that's the importance of routine. You have to keep consistency of things, put things in your routine, and then you don't have to think about that anymore. If you go and do the time blocking technique, you block the time, people around you, they're going to understand that time is reserved for that. Let's say if we get back to that example we just saw, from 5 to 7, your family, your friends, everyone are going to know every day from 5 to 7 you are studying. No one's going to bother you. You have to talk to them, you have to, explain to them what you're doing, and then people are going to leave you alone for do what you have to do. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have friends or not going to have time for them. You will, because you block the time for them too. So you have your weekend, you can have other time, which you should be organizing to. Don't be fooled thinking you should organize only your week. You should organize your weekend as well. You can book barbecue, you can book to meet some friends at the shopping mall, whatever, but you should be booking that. If you book things and be organized with that, that's going to help you to achieve everything you want to achieve. Then we can come back to the next technique, which is called Pomodoro. What Pomodoro is? Pomodoro is actually that's the Italian word for tomato, but that's just because of the stopwatch the guy was using to actually do the technique. But what the technique means, it's a focus technique. It's a technique for actually stay focused on something for some time. There is a research, they've done a research, I can't recall the uni, but they have done a research on how much time a person can actually stay focused and be productive on doing something, especially if something like brain consuming. If you're gonna be using your mind and if you're gonna use like uh, your your brain to actually do something, the time you can be focusing on something, is 25 minutes. They discovered that in that research, and they said if you stay more than 25 minutes, you will start to be less productive. You're not going to be focused as much as before. So that Pomodoro means you're going to put a stopwatch on 25 minutes and say, okay, you're going to put an alert. You're going to start doing something. You're going to focus on that. You're going to turn off your phone. You're going to turn off your messages. You're not going to pay attention to anything else. You're going to focus on this thing, and then focus on this thing. You're going to be doing that for 25 minutes. And then the alert is going to ring. Things it's going to say, it's going to tell you, okay, 25 minutes is finished. You're going to have a 5 minutes break. Go have a 5 minutes break. Go to the toilet, grab a coffee, come back and do 24 minutes again. And then do that again and again. Every 4 times or every 2 hours, you should have a longer break. Instead of just 5 minutes, you can have like 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes break. That's going to keep your brain fresh. That's going to keep your capability to actually achieve whatever you are trying to achieve, to actually concentrate, to actually do the thing you are supposed to do. Because if you try to stay there concentrated for more than 25 minutes, you're going to end up too tired. You're going to tire, you're going to give up on that, you're going to leave that for later and never coming back. So that Pomodoro technique, it's very useful when you have to focus on something, especially studying, for example. In the previous example, we saw people are reserving 2 hours for studying, but they're not going to take the full 2 hours studying. It's probably going to be 25 minutes, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes, 5 minutes break. But you have to respect the break as well, because if you take 25 minutes working and 25 minutes break, then you're not going to have 2 hours studying. You're going to have 1.5 hour, which is not fair to yourself. You're not going to be studying as much as you wanted to be. All right, Pomodoro said, what's next? Next technique is actually avoid multitasking. And most people think they can actually do multitask. They think they can do multiple things at once. And there are research as well proving that's not possible. A human being is not capable to actually do more than one task at one specific time. So people who think they are multitask, what they are actually doing, they are switching between tasks. They are switching between one and another task. and they are trying to do that very quickly, and that gives them the false idea that they are doing multiple things at once, which when they are actually not doing. And that's actually slowing them down, because when we switch tasks, you need some time to actually get back to what we were doing before. So when you switch tasks, you have to find yourself again on what you were doing before. So you were doing something here, then you change the task, you go to another task, you start to do something else, then you come back to the task you were doing before. You have to remember what you were doing, or have to uh, get back into it, and that takes time. That switch between tasks, that takes time, and that's where multitasking is actually going to be worse than doing one thing, finish that, doing another thing, finish the second one. If you do one task at a time, it's going to be faster than multitasking. Don't be fooled, and don't fall in that problem of trying to multitask and thinking you are actually doing things quicker when you are actually not. And that also brings us to the next one, which is manage distractions. You should be try to focus as much as you can when you are doing important things. For example, studying or doing code challenges. Um, and when I say manage distractions, is try to put your phone aside. Try to not respond messages and not get people or not talk to people when you were focused. If you're using Pomodoro during those 25 minutes, focus on one thing. You can get your phone and respond messages and things in your 5 minutes break, but try to not be distracted. That's gonna give you more. That's gonna give you more concentration. If you stay focused and concentrated, you're gonna achieve more. And the last but not least technique I want to talk is about the downtime you can actually utilize for doing things which are not that important, or things you can do while your time has been drained by something else. Let's say if you are stuck in the traffic. If you are stuck in the traffic, either driving or in a bus or in a train, whatever, you can actually listen to a podcast. You can learn something. You can learn a new language. You can utilize that time for reading if you are in a train or in a bus. Obviously, you're not going to be reading if you are in a car, driving the car, but you can utilize any downtime you have. If you have to wait for something, if you go to a doctor's appointment, you have to wait for the doctor, you can actually utilize that time for reading. So pay attention on the downtime you have over there. I'm pretty sure everyone does that downtime. Everyone has some time they have to wait for something. They are just there because they are in traffic. They are stuck. If you are smart, you should utilizing that time to do something important to you. That was all about the techniques. Let's get now for the tools. Which tools you can actually utilize to manage your time? There are tools uh, in the current days which can actually help us to do things, especially tasks. So if you organize your day and then you come to the things you have to do, you have to know what you want to do. So you also have to be planning stuff. You should plan your week. You should be planning your month, your trimester, your semester. So if you plan your terms, if you plan your semesters, it's going to be very helpful. And if you put everything in a tool, like create a backlog of tasks, uh, that's going to take it out of your mind and put that in the tool. So you don't have to be remembering everything. You just come to the tool and the things are there. Um, sorry. The best tools I know for doing things for task management is actually Trello, Jira, Asana. My preference is for Jira. I've been using Jira for myself, for my stuff, for creating videos for this channel for a while, and also for my job. I've been using Jira for many years already. But Trello has a board and also can do the same thing, and Asana is very similar to Jira. So you can create a backlog of tasks, you can create a board and see like what are the things I have to do, what are the things I'm doing at the moment, and what things I have done already. That's more like agile way of doing things. Agile is a software development technique. If you guys are not familiar, if you want to become a software developer, I definitely recommend you to actually study Agile, but that's not the main subject of this video. So let's get back to task management. These tools, they are especially good on managing your tasks. So it's going to help you to take that out of your mind. You don't have to be remembering that. You don't have to be thinking of that. And we know like thinking is like energy consuming. It's going to take your energy. It's going to drain your energy if you think too much about things a tool can actually control for you. That's why we need those tools like Jira, Trello, Asana to organize your tasks. You're probably going to need a calendar. It doesn't matter if it is your computer calendar, your OS calendar, like you're used like Google Calendar, calendar on your phone, but a calendar to actually book stuff. Remember when I said to you, you should be booking your weekends, you should be booking time over your week. You're going to use a calendar for that. A calendar is going to help you to not forget any appointment and anything you need to go or you need to attend. Um, So don't trust on your mind to remember everything, or don't use like a paper and a notebook, because that's you're gonna be lost on that. If you use the tools, and that's why they are here for, they're all free tools. Like most of them are free, and if you have to pay, it's not much, unless you're gonna use a team for Jira, for example. Otherwise, it's free for use. Calendar is usually free. Google Calendar is free. You know, there's no reason for not using them. And another two interesting tools are actually focus tools. Um, there is a tool, I can't recall the name, it's something tree. I think it's plant a tree, or something like that. That tool actually help you to keep focus in one thing. Let's say you are working on the computer, you put a tree, sort of like planting a tree on the app you are using. For example, if you're using Visual Studio Code for actually doing your code, you put a tree in there in Visual Studio, and if you stay in that screen, if you stay in that tool, the tree is going to grow. If you leave that and open a Facebook or open Instagram or whatever, if you leave that screen, if you leave that app, the tool, the plant tree tool, the tree is gonna die. So if the tree dies, it's sort of a game, you lost the game. And if your tree grows, you win the game. So it's a pretty gamification and interesting tool for actually keep focused. So I'm gonna work in that for the next 25 minutes. So plant a tree in that. And then your tree is gonna grow if you stay focused on that. So it's pretty cool tool and it's really helpful. And I think there's actually an organization behind that which plants all the trees you grow. So all the trees everyone grow, they go to the real life and they really plant those trees. It's pretty interesting one. And the last two, but not least one, it's a note tasking tool. What note tasking tool do? It's just something to take notes. You can take notes on your computer. You can be using Evernote, Notion. We even have some tools with AI integration now, which can actually do some pretty cool things like organizing your day. Uh, but basically, what that is actually something to take note. Let's say you are concentrating on something. You are using Pomodoro. You are doing one of those 25 minutes sprints. And in that 25 minutes, you just remember something important you have to do. You don't want to forget that. What you do, just go for your note to take note of that, go back to your focus. Don't lose your focus. And a note tool is actually going to help you to not lose in focus. Whatever someone tells you, someone calls you and says something important which you have to do, you're going to take note of that. Just use a note tool. I would say Evernote is a good one, or whatever you are used to, but don't rely on your mind. Again, don't rely on your mind for doing something. If you take that out of your mind, it's not going to consume energy from you, and that's going to be helpful to achieve your goal. And other than the tools and apps, last thing I want to talk to you guys is about how to keep your work life and study balance. We all know it's important for not burning out, for keeping you healthy and everything. So I have some tips here for you guys to actually keep that life balance or work life study balance. My first tip would say you should be setting some boundaries. And what I mean when I say setting boundaries is actually telling people, as I mentioned before, when you do your time blocking. Let me get back to time blocking here and show that to you. When you get to the time blocking, for example, you should be telling people, okay, during this time, during 6 and 9 a.m., don't talk to me. Or during 7 and 9 a.m., don't talk to me. I'm doing a code challenge. That's important. I don't want to be bothered. So you should be talking to people around you and set the boundary for them. Not, I should be interrupted here unless it's something really important. You can do the same thing for like 5 to 7. Uh, if you tell people that's my boundaries, that's the time you can call me, that's the time you can reach me, that's the time you can actually come to me and say a joke, things which are not important and people come to you all the time. If you set some boundaries and tell people to not do that, and you keep consistency on the time, people around you, they're going to learn it. And once they learn it, they're not going to bother you anymore. Hmm. Another important tip here is actually the importance of breaks. Uh, breaks, if you don't take breaks, if you try to stay focused too much, your brain is going to be too tired. You are going to be able to do that for a couple of days, 3 days maybe, and then you are going to give up because you're just going to be too tired and going to say, it's not working. It's not working for me. I'm studying too much. It's brain drainer if you don't take breaks. So if you have to take breaks every half hour or every 25 minutes if you're using Pomodoro. If you don't want to use Pomodoro, that's okay, but you still should have some time to go for a short walk, have a coffee, uh, do something like in the intervals, in the breaks. Because if you don't do breaks, you can't keep consistency. You're going to be not going to be able to keep that consistency you wanted to keep. Also, that's going to lead us to the next tip, which is the healthy lifestyle. If you don't keep a healthy lifestyle, if your body and mind are not healthy, you're not going to be able to achieve anything. Because imagine if you're trying to study, but your body is too tired. Or if you're trying to study, but your mind is like bored with something else. You are bored with some family member or with the kids which are sick. If you don't keep like a healthy lifestyle, if you don't exercise, you should exercise to keep like your body moving and things. If you don't keep this healthy lifestyle, you are not going to be able to achieve anything. It's not just about studying, it's not just about career change, it's actually about your life. You're not going to achieve anything, definitely. And I know most people, they struggle with that. I know it's easy to say and hard to do. I have the same problem to myself. I also struggle to actually keep the lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle. Like, I'm not very fan to go to the gym every day or to run. I particularly like to run, but I'm not very fan of doing that every day. Every day going to gym, every day lifting weights, and it's not something I quite enjoy, but I know it's important to me. I know it's important to my body. I know it's important to my life. That's why I do. And if you are struggling with that, you really should review your concepts. You really should review what's important to you. Because I would say a healthy body and healthy mind is the most important thing for your life. Everything else is not going to work if you are not healthy. You can't work if you're not healthy. You can't have a career. You can't have anything. You can't have even a relationship if you're not healthy. So keep a healthy lifestyle, definitely. And also, it's very connected to that is mindfulness and stress management. To keep a healthy lifestyle, you should keep stress under control and be mindful of your things. So some things here you could do is like yoga, meditation, and keep attention to those things and keeping your mind healthy, keeping your body healthy, and don't be too stressed. And it's hard to say when you have a stressful job or even if you have to study too much. Some people struggle to study. You just have too much things to study in a short period of time, and then you get too stressed and get anxious. Um, the way to actually manage and work on that is doing some meditation. If you book, if you book in your agenda time to do some meditation, that's going to help you. Or doing some yoga, doing some exercise. Sometimes exercising is the time to keep your mind free. For me, that's the running. I like to run, and when I want to like free up my mind, I don't want to think on anything, I go for a run. And I try to keep my mind clean when I'm running, because if I start to run and I start to thinking all the problems and all the things, instead of help me, that's actually going to be worse to me. Um, the last but not least thing, you should have some time for fun. As I mentioned before, you should book in your weekends, like meet your friends. Don't spend all the time studying or all the time focusing on one thing. That's gonna kill you. If you don't reserve the time for having fun, for enjoying your kids, for enjoying your partner, for enjoying your family, that's gonna kill you. So getting back again, I think time blocking is the best tool I've showed you guys today. Getting back to the time blocking, you should have this time for family, for friends, for kids. You should have the time for over the weekends. Like you should have the time for your mates, for playing some games. If you like video game, or if you like to play soccer, if you like to play rugby, whatever, go for play that. Keep that in your life. Don't leave that, or don't be a part of that. Otherwise, like you're gonna go crazy. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. I think it was a long video, but I hope it was helpful. Just want to wrap up. This is all what I had to you about time management. We understood what was that. I gave you guys some techniques, some tools and apps, and how you can actually keep a good work-life study balance. Let me know in the comments below, like if you are struggling with that, or if you have anything, any problem with time management, anything I can help. Just shoot me a message. I'm gonna be more than happy to respond to you guys. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave the thumbs up and share that with someone who actually gonna need to manage your time. I think that's something everyone needs. That was all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.